was gonna where the truth once stood. A kingdom of confusion carved out of falsehood. But he walks through the ruins like a prophet reborn. A voice once in fire, a mic on this gone. The chaos watches with an all-seeing glare. Guardian of reason in a world unaware. When the overlord stalls at the edge of the frame, the faithful rise up, they already know his name. I'm here to resurrect the second coming of common sin. I come to wake the sleeping, the church will bring the fed. No hurdles, no illusions, no hollow in compare. He's here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Thinking truth from the wreckage, raising dawn from the dead. Every word is a weapon, shot and declare. Exposing every shadow we pretend not to fear. And the overlord marches with the suffering command. A beast of judgment, the mortal chemist dead. On his growl rips through the silence of the night. The loyal understand, shipping keeps the battle is right. I'm here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. I'm making the chaos of found with pretend. Strong against the darkness, rising defend. He's here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Now you're headed to the beast that controls the dawn. Sensing yellow reason with the ball crushing blood. If his bull runs empty, the shadows will consume. The world cracks open, ushering down. So read the command, contemplate a core. If you know what's good, feed Morty the overlord.
Alright, welcome back to the party, everybody. This is Morty, and I am your host, Lutch, aka the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Everybody hit that like and subscribe. You know how we do it for you. And let's party. Who we got in the building? Shout out to Dick Johnson. We got Seth in the building. What's going on, Jason? And we got Colonial Quail. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the party, guys. How are we doing? I'm a little off. I literally woke up 40 minutes ago. The HVAC guys were here at 9 a.m. We were streaming till almost 3 this morning. And then the HVAC guys were here all day. And so I'm a little out of whack, but we are here. Colonel Quail said, bad Iran deal. Must have had to check with Putin. Well, that's definitely unfolding. But as we've got one more day that this strike is hanging over the channel, we're gonna lay low and check out the debates from this Saturday. And then we can get right back into our old dirty deeds. Medic, welcome. Said abortion is murder 100%. I agree, and that is what I debated. So I actually messed up because I went straight to my debate, and I realized that I want to, that should be the grand finale, right? So let's go through the other debates. So you have to bear with me a second while I'm figuring out where exactly we are in the whole night, because we were streaming earlier before all of that started, and then we were waiting for a minute for people to come on in, and let's see. So still we're looking for Searka. There's Searka. Okay, where are we?
I'm not against it. It's just making a second place that I have to do this. Like and I'm not trying to get too like into the act because my
basically all they needed was just one camera previously, or just kind of
more like me. Yeah, 10. All right, give me a sec. Here.
Tyler walked away. It looks like.
It's all right.
I think that's even the solution.
Okay, all right. The timer's going, so that must mean we are close. Let's see, and we got Horseradish talking. All right, so let's see. Is it invite guests under collaboration?
Back over here. Appreciate you guys. You guys have been sort of our guinea pigs here. Appreciate y'all's patience while we're figuring this out. But 3 minutes is on the clock now for you, for your closing. Are you ready to do that,
closing?
Testes?
Shit, we missed it. All right, hold on. What were we looking up in the middle of it?
I'm gonna hope he can hear us.
I think it just in terms of the I don't remember.
Yeah, but I mean at the same time we like.
Okay, we're getting closer. I remember that Searka, the guy who's missing, he wasn't there for the first debate. So okay, we're getting close. I appreciate you bearing with me
Around here at the basics.
So good for them.
All right, I think this is the opening.
You can prove exactly what someone knew. Ready?
All right, I think we found it.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, except we get better viewers if we whatever. I sent you an invite to the stream together. So if you find that, I'll send it again here in just a second once we get started. Vigi, yes or no? You're not streaming, correct?
We're close.
Okay, beautiful. Get the rest of the you first, Testes. You know how it works here.
All right.
I will start the clock when you start to talk. So go ahead.
Alrighty.
Wait, what was the prompt?
Oh, Vigi, you're muted.
You're muted in Discord.
Oh, come on, brother.
I went live and joined already.
You did? Okay, beautiful. Well, then.
Oh, Jesus. Struggle streaming. I appreciate you guys.
Pixel 1 versus the 3D.
Yep. No, it's beautiful. I approve. Military industrial complex should be nationalized is going to be our second debate.
There we go. So that was the second one. What's the first one? Wait.
Normal.
Twitch chat.
Pixel 1 versus
be nationalized is going to be our second debate. And our third debate of the night, again, we're going to have to do that again. I'm sorry, people, is going to be between the unpresent Searka on the right, and on the left is going to be Lutch, the Indian Jesus.
We'll figure it out. Okay, so worst case scenario, if we're jumping in on the second debate, then we'll do it out of order. But, I apologize. I should have set this up before, but it was in the last minute. I was like, oh, wait, why am I going to the beginning of our debate when, but I don't even, I can't even remember exactly what the first prompt was. But welcome. And we got Liberty Plus TV. So we're here. We're at a debate. Depending on if we're on the military industrial complex debate, then we'll do that one first and we'll go back. Otherwise, we are here.
This prompt, please bear with me, is going to be boink. So much time into it and we still fucking dropped shit, man. I know I say we just so I don't feel bad, but really it's me. I'm the one who fucked all this up. I suck.
It was me, guys. Sorry.
All right. This is the one that I am really looking for.
Hey, we got the man himself in the building. Welcome to the party. This is my stream, so I should have done this beforehand, but I didn't think about. I pinned the timestamp for my debate, but I didn't think about going to the first and second one. So now I'm kind of flailing. But welcome, and big shout out to Horseradish. You guys should definitely all go subscribe. I definitely over there all the time, but I also think it's a great place to get your teeth wet if you are into debate and you want to give it a try. Horseradish is really cool with letting new people up. and he's pretty good with matching people up the way they should be. You know, where it's you're not getting demolished in your first the second time. You might, but we also got David Gill over on Rumble. Welcome to the party. Oh, thank you, David Gill. Dilly to you. Federal employees being prohibited from gambling. That is the first prompt. Should all federal employees be banned from gambling? And I think it's specifically prediction markets. There we go. All right, so we're good. Ready? Let's do it.
Forward to, oh goddamn, what did I fucking do?
We all struggle
we're
streams.
just gonna start that over with.
Control Z,
somehow.
remember?
Yeah, I remember. How we do this. Prompt 3. There we go.
Awesome. If you're gonna do it that way, then we'll
Leave that in. Fucking the on the you're right.
Getting close.
Let's chief, if you can just kind of the fact like 40 and we're not just we got lights sent out while you guys start cooking. 3 minutes is on the clock. This is gonna go to you first, Testes. You know how it works here. I will start the clock when you start to talk. So go ahead.
Shout out to Wicked Wally in the building. Welcome. Is Mayonnaise a debate channel? I've never heard of it. Maybe, but not that I've heard of. Horse said not all the BS, but it is cleaned up. Oh, you just posted it? Is that what you're telling me? Let's see. Boom. Oh, beautiful. There we go. Shout out to Horseradish. Let me drop the link here. So this is what we are about to watch. Shout out to Horseradish for now the BS, as we call it.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome
There we
to
go.
Militarized.
Now, not only is it going to look better, but we don't have to worry about my bullshit commentary throughout the other one so that we can actually hear what the debate is. Thank you, sir. And again, guys, go give him a sub. Again, I really enjoy being on the channel, and I think it's a great place to not only get your teeth wet, but if you are into debate, kind of get it in there. This was not an easy debate for me. I think I won. The judges think I won, but let's see what you guys have to say. Shout out again to Horseradish. Let's do it.
Zone. This is the one stream designed to help you feel better about engaging in hot button issues with people you disagree with. Our goal here is to teach discourse and survival tactics, not just farm gotchas and dunks.
Beautiful.
We cultivate meaningful, intelligent conversation where you have to stop and listen to the other person, even if it is justifying the flaws in what they're saying. So, at least for tonight, check your weapons at the door, take notes, act like grown-ups, and refrain from the blood sports and shit slinging that have plagued our politics for far too long. But here, our audience does get a say. So, there will be a link in the chat to where you can vote at the end. Costs nothing. It's free, so limber up those voting fingers.
If you guys want to be part of the vote, you gotta watch live.
Okay. And we're going to exercise your democratic rights to decide which side made the most persuasive case. Now, we have 3 prompts for you tonight. We have 6 debaters. So sit back and relax and enjoy as we introduce all of that. Coming up tonight, first, our first debate of the night is going to be federal employees should be banned from betting on prediction markets. This is going to be between Vigilante on the right and Testicles on the left.
Worth the wait. I still think we could. I'm still down to. Oh, did you send me a DM about StreamYard? Definitely still down to help you out with that. But I like this setup better than just watching the whole
Our
stream.
second debate of the night is going to be Casey Lee versus Emmett on military industrial complex should be nationalized. It's going to be our second debate. And our third debate of the night, again, we're going to have to do that again. I'm sorry, people, is going to be between the unpresent Searka on the right, and on the left is going to be Lutch, the Indian Jesus. This prompt, fucking legal personhood should begin at conception. There we go. Lutch, the Indian Jesus, is on the affirmative, and Searka will eventually, hopefully, be on the negative. So, going back to this, and it still all works. Yes, it does. Casey, are you frozen?
Hold on, wait, we did it. Okay,
No.
so yeah,
Okay.
that was the this is Horseradish's channel, and then this other link is to what we're watching right now. Shout out to John Castle. No, this is the debates. I'm reviewing the debates. What you mean? What you talking about? You don't see me up in the corner looking so cute? Welcome, welcome, welcome.
No, you were just
Okay.
you were doing the
Just
creepy dad
creepy,
stare.
just being creepy.
Yeah, just being creepy. All right. So again, like I said, because of the new setup, we can actually get this started, and Searka can kind of come in on his own. Let's Chief, if you can just kind of let me know if and or when. I'm not sure, but maybe the fact that I closed the Discord is why it's working now. So I don't know. We'll see.
Hold your breath and power through it.
Yep, that's right. I got through the whole thing, right? All right, cool. Then in that case, we're going to go ahead and move straight on into 30 minutes late, 40 minutes late. Fuck me. I am sorry, everybody. We are going to go to our
Usually it's
first.
everyone else's fault.
Yeah,
All right, and I updated the descriptions to reflect the correct video that we're watching. So all that stuff, if you want to watch it without my commentary, check that out. I'm everywhere, baby. I'm everywhere. We got Glow in Dark. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the party. Let's get into it.
right. Exactly. And it still is because it's Searka. So, all right, we're going to go ahead and we're going to start with our first debate, everybody. Thank you very much for your patience. Thank you for tuning in. I guess we're not going to do the stream together thing tonight because I don't think anybody else is streaming. So it's just you just got to be here to watch it.
I am streaming.
You are? Who said that?
Casey.
It's Casey, but we have the same viewer, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I mean,
All right, let's get to it.
A federal
All
employee.
right, so again, the federal employees should be banned from betting on prediction markets. It's like Kalshi and what's the other one? Polymarket, stuff like that.
should not be able to make money betting on the same government
Do you want that win? Do you want to win just by default? I would prefer they show up and lose than take that kind of win. But I guess them's the rules, right? Anybody know what idle games are? I am not. Sounds fun.
decision.
Here we
A
go.
federal employee should not be able to make money betting on the same government decisions that they help carry out, hear about first, or influence from the inside. Simply put, this is about trust in institutions. And if people lose faith that government decisions are being made in the public interest, then institutions stop functioning the way they're supposed to. It's not always one giant scandal or smoking gun. The risk being run is a slow erosion over time. It's death by 1,000 cuts. Losing public trust has far-reaching implications through all levels of government and society. The most obvious issue here is the conflict of interest of using non-public information for personal financial gain. If the conflict of interest is the loaded gun, then abuse is pulling the trigger. Good ethics rules do not wait for the shot to be fired. In public institutions, the standard is not don't commit a provable crime. The standard is also impartiality, integrity, and public confidence. That's why ethics laws exist in the first place. If the standard were only punish abuse after it is clearly proven, then we would not have things like judicial recusal rules, disclosure rules, gift restrictions, or anti-nepotism rules in the first place.
So I'm
Those
putting,
rules-
I'm putting up a poll right now to see if you guys agree or disagree with the prompt. I think that this prompt specifically is a little bit too broad, as I think they get into that all federal employees. I think it's a little too broad, but there's definitely, I think, like our elected officials should not be allowed to do that. So I debate Searka on abortion, essentially. It's a little bit longer than that, but it's abortion. It's the atheist v. atheist, the godless abortion debate. All right.
rules, gift restrictions, or anti-nepotism rules in the first place. Those rules exist because the structure and appearance of impartiality matter more before abuse occurs. And that is exactly the problem here. The current system asks, how can you prove they traded illegally? But the better question is, why are they allowed to be in that position at all? A conflict of interest is not the same thing as proven abuse. It is the condition that creates serious risk and undermines trust whether or not abuse can be proven. And this abuse is not hypothetical. There are examples, including through a Polymark trader who made $400,000 betting on the capture of Nicolas Maduro, and another bet where the White House press secretary made a speech that lasted for less than 65 minutes. They profited because the speech abruptly ended 30 seconds before the 65-minute mark. More recently, there's been bets surrounding the Iran war, as well as the prices or the manipulation of oil price. And 6 new
So far, most of you are agreeing. Most of you are agreeing that they should be banned.
on war, as well as the prices or the manipulation of oil price. And 6 newly created accounts made around $1.2 million betting on when Trump would strike Iran. 40 lawmakers, as early as March 30th, which was less than a week ago, have signed a letter petitioning the CFTC to investigate these things.
Ooh, look
proving
at that
this is a
editing.
known issue. And the key issue here is the
Smooth.
advantage doesn't have to come from a clean, provable leak. It can come from timing, it can come from personal internal awareness, it can come from knowing something is likely to happen. It doesn't have to be a single classified document. From the outside, the public can't tell the difference of a lucky bet or a well-timed insider bet. That uncertainty alone is corrosive and why the current laws are inadequate. Lastly, my opponent will say that the current laws are adequate as they are. Some of them are, but the rules are not enough because they are mostly reactive and not preventative. They work best against the cleanest and dumbest cases after the fact when you can prove exactly what someone knew and when they knew it. Prediction markets are dangerous precisely because they reward the gray zone of timing, internal awareness, and plausible deniability.
I tend to agree. And obviously, the affirmative goes first. So I don't know what this is with the pictures. I always mix up the pictures. But this person is in the affirmative that federal employees should indeed be banned from betting on the prediction markets.
The standard for public institutions cannot be, it's probably fine. Thank you.
All right, good stuff.
All right, so that's the 4. John said, I'd probably abolish investing in general, at least dramatic reforms, so you can't play the markets. You mean for the employees or in general? I think it's, again, the issue, wait, gotta be centered. The issue that I have is, again, the scope that, I think they bring up, like, being a mailman. Like, just because you're a mailman doesn't mean you shouldn't be able to do that. That's a federal employee. But obviously, our elected officials in office and Congress and stuff like that, I don't want them touching that stuff just because they know more stuff than we do. They've got the information that matters.
So now we're going to go ahead and go to 3 minutes of open cross-examination. This is directed questioning from Vigilante. This is his opportunity to poke holes, set up arguments, etc., etc. Ultimately, though, he gets to use the time as he sees fit. 3 minutes is on you, Vigi. I will start whenever you start to talk.
I am not great at utilizing the cross-examination part of this. I definitely need to get better at how to use this time better. The way that I tried to use it, as we'll see, is to, again, set up some arguments. But because I don't know what the argument is, then it's hard to preempt it. And I thought, again, I'm kind of jumping ahead, but I thought my debate was going to go in a completely different direction. So the questions that I had in the cross-examination didn't really end up mattering all that much. But we learn. So again, this is now him saying, okay, what about that you just said?
Yeah, so question, do all federal employees have access to information before the public does?
So that's a bit of an open question. I would say, I think it's an obvious no. Not all, like the janitors probably don't have access to privileged information. Like offhand.
I would say most of them don't, because I mean, like the post office employees definitely don't. Like obviously, you mentioned the janitors and stuff.
Let me know if I gotta turn it up.
So I mean, your problem seems to be mostly like with like obscure bets on like poly market. I mean, couldn't we just limit what people could bet on instead of just banning federal employees from all prediction markets?
So I think
I'm actually saying you have to make the cross up on the fly unless the questions are designed to trap them for your own open. So and that's what I was trying to do. And typically when I've just been like listening and taking notes and be like, okay, what about this? What about that? What about that? I feel like if I have a better understanding of what argument is coming down the pipe, then that's where you can set up the traps and just establish certain things that you can pull back on later. Hey, shout out to Equality and Deference because Vagina over on Rumble. Welcome, said, liked, and shared. My goodness, thank you so very, very much. You guys know that stuff is free. It's easy. It just takes a second and helps out the channel so very, very much. It does not even matter if you think anybody's going to click on the link. Just by you telling the platform you want more people to see it, they will show it to more people. Welcome. Liberty said, I don't know if the issue is privileged info because a janitor still can bet on janitorial-related things. Okay, but so can if you want to go that way, then any teacher can bet on any education related thing. And so I do think, I personally don't think that the prediction markets are a overall good thing, but from the more libertarian standpoint, there's no sense in saying we can't do that or we shouldn't allow it. But that's the sticking point of this. That it's not all federal employees. I would have if I was on the negative where Vigi is here. That's where I would have honed it on the specific broadness, you know what I mean, the broadness of the prompt that allows too much to be banned, too much government. Quality said, we should all adopt the insane positions that little humans are, wait for it, humans too.
What?
We should all adopt the insane position that little humans are, little humans. I told you, I woke up like 45 minutes ago. Yes, little humans are indeed humans. We got Costly Tarnish that just joined the Discord. Very, very cool. I am looking forward to seeing you in the after party. Because, guys, it is free to join the Discord. The link is pinned to the top of the chat if you're on the landscape, and absolutely free. However, if you are a member of the channel, or if you just click that link and join before the end of the stream, then you can join the after party. So it's an after party for members only. But if you join the Discord before the end of the stream, I'll give you a day pass. You can come hang out. Nothing to lose. All right. So let's get back into the cross-examination.
So I mean, your problem seems to be mostly like with like obscure bets on like poly market. I mean, couldn't we just limit what people could bet on instead of just banning federal employees from all prediction markets?
So I think that creates more administrative oversight. When, for example, let's say that we allow for maybe something like sports bettings. Well, what if a political figure or Trump is going to make a speech, say at a football game or something, if they're going to wear a specific color tie at some event? So there's a lot of cross where I don't think you can cleanly separate these things. And the point is...
Listen. I didn't ask, but don't be offering shit you're not actually willing to put up. That's all I'm saying.
That it's an overall principle or an overall rule, and because they are in a position where they may be able to get access to information, I think it's better to just have a blanket rule that says they're not allowed to do it.
Well, and Liberty's talking about how it's a non-issue because of the level of insider trading, and this is my frustration with the libertarian mindset. It's like, well, all of that is bad, so why does this even matter? Just because there's giant bad things happening doesn't mean that if we can tamp down on a smaller but still significant bad thing happening, doesn't mean we shouldn't do that. The actual prediction market companies are the ones who should be regulating this, not the government. Yeah, I agree with that. But it doesn't say who. So the prompt is federal employees should be banned from betting on prediction markets. So you're actually on the affirmative. You just think that the prediction markets should be the ones banning them, not the government. So you're actually on the affirmative. Oh, I debated you. I did a debate. Banning them from investing doesn't really solve the problem. It's tricky, and I think that's actually a much better approach. I think it's a much better approach that the companies are like, this is a great place to come and do your betting because we don't have people with insider information fucking up the markets. That makes the horseradish action what they would gain, that you're creating you're giving a better market, a better product, the service rather. The fact that I know that people who have insider information is a big reason. Not the only reason, but a big reason why I don't put money in those things, because I know that the people who are have the information can tip the scales and do it whichever way they want. But if I know that, hey, it's just we're all betting on predictions and only predictions, then I think it allows people to feel like it's a much more fair system. Does that combat the amount of money that they get? That is an interesting question, but they definitely have to gain that. Equality. So again, the prompt is going to be on the screen. Federal employees should be banned from betting on prediction markets. Do you agree or disagree? We've got the squirrel who agrees and the human who said no.
The same rule, and because they are in a position where they may be able to get access to information, I think it's better to just have a blanket rule that says they're not allowed to do it.
So
I'm
I
with
mean,
Liberty. I'm with Liberty. The federal employees should be banned, or not all of them, but the employees that we're talking about should be banned, but they should be banned by the prediction markets, not by the government. Smart. Hey, we got Jason. Welcome. Said Congress shouldn't be making money the way they do, and that's exactly the point. If they're already making money the way that they shouldn't through the actual stock market, can we at least have the prediction markets that are just for the people? And we got Heimdall. Welcome to the party. Heimdall said, I'm about to ask a stupid question. No stupid questions. Lots of stupid answers, but no stupid questions. Are you saying gambling should be fair? I think gambling should be as fair as it is presented to be. So if you're saying, hey, we have a bunch of people who are just using public knowledge to bet on whether Trump is going to wear a red tie or a blue tie, then it is more fair that people who don't know what color tie he's going to wear are betting than if people who do know are betting along with people who don't know. Because even if it's even if it's a 50-50 shot, then it's not a 50-50 shot if you know that it's 100% that he's going to wear the red tie. So I think that is fair. Yeah, I think that when we're talking about fairness, gambling doesn't necessarily mean that you break even every time. But that's how that's how it works in sports too. Sports is supposed to be fair. That doesn't mean you always win. That just means there's a level playing field. Gambling shouldn't be fair. Well, I think it should be. But I definitely agree that it should not be fraudulent. Don said, I'm ultimately pro-market, so either regulate harshly or open it up drastically. It's complicated. I hear you. There's a lot of the issues are from the middle ground, right? The bureaucracy that doesn't go far enough to do what they actually want to do, so they just mess it up and make it worse in the first place. Shout out to Brandon Murphy. Welcome. So I'd rather be fair with people than a jerk to everybody. But if they want to be jerks, that's their problem. Well, it's your problem too if you're betting on the same thing. If they're going to be jerks and you're not a jerk and you're betting on the same thing, they're going to win and you're going to lose. Home dark side should be illegal. It is a lot of places. I completely disagree. Yeah, and so that's a completely fair statement. I'm not saying gambling shouldn't be risky. I'm saying the risk that you, so we have this one, and then there are many debates. So a 15-minute open floor debate. So we got this one, then we got a military-industrial complex one, and then mine. Yeah, exactly. But I think that's a fair position. But the risk thing is different than the fairness thing. All right, diving back in.
The information, I think it's better to just have a blanket rule that says they're not allowed to do it.
So I mean, I can understand mostly like the argument for like appointed and elected officials, but why like the regular federal employees?
Right. So this is referred to as I guess would be a bright line ethics rule. So this is supposed to be a clean line, and part of the reason is I think to avoid any ambiguity. Part of the initial reason I said in my opening was that these things have to be proven after the fact. So who knew what and when? It's a lot more administrative oversight, a lot more cost that goes into trying to do these micro policings of certain things. So I think that's why a ban outright would be a cleaner solution.
Yeah, but doesn't banning stuff just drive the issues underground and prevent disclosure?
Maybe so, but that in and of itself is not a reason not to make things illegal. And this is the same argument that people use with with abortion. Now, there are certain things that we've seen that when you do push it underground, it does make it worse. But that's still not like if you're pushing. That's like saying, oh well, if we push murder underground, then it's just going to happen unregulated. There's a level of where we want to be practical versus where the morality just comes in. We don't want that happening.
Cleaner solution.
Yeah, but doesn't banning stuff just drive the issues underground and prevent disclosure?
So disclosure, I would say there can be a tracking of wrongdoing, but I don't think that I don't think that disclosure actually solves the issue. Again, think of it as a preventative versus after the fact. So a disclosed conflict would still be a conflict. I don't think that disclosing it solves the core issue here.
Fair enough. We have 30 seconds left, so I don't think we have time for another question.
All right, we can go
Sure.
ahead. We can go ahead and
yeah,
put a button
that's
on it. Not a problem.
Right.
All
and
right.
So now
in
he's
that
going to open
case,
up.
Vigilante, I'm going to go ahead and put 3 minutes on the clock for you. Whenever you're ready, sir. Clock will start whenever you start to talk. There we go.
Shout out to the mailman.
Yep. So prediction markets derive their value from the aggregation of diverse information from private sources to estimate the probability of events. This includes things like sports betting, political betting on things like poly market, and then also future bettings on stocks. What do all of these things have in common? They're effectively gambling. Why should we ban federal employees from gambling? It's an absurd proposition. You can claim this is for insider trading purposes, but banning them from all forms of prediction betting is just to prevent them from doing insider trading is ridiculous overreach.
So so he's appealing to a similar but different thing about how this is too broad. And so he's saying that it's not the federal employee part that's too broad, but the betting on prediction market is gambling. Where do you draw the line? So if you're going to essentially, from what I'm understanding so far, if you're going to ban the prediction markets, then where do you stop?
There's already bans on insider trading, including the insider trading on prediction markets for the economy. We can agree that they don't really enforce this though, and there are ways to achieve what we would be trying to achieve with this that don't limit what 2.2 million federal employees can do in their free time.
And so already, if you're saying I can achieve the same thing without infringing on people, then I'm listening.
The way that we could get rid of these is remove the House Ethics Committee and create an independent ethics enforcement agency that the head of which is elected and not appointed to limit the bias as much as possible. But obviously that's an unlikely and unrealistic proposition because it would require a addition to the Constitution, and we're not going to get that anytime soon.
Shout out to Little Toes. Welcome to the party. And again, guys, remember, if you are on the vertical stream and you don't want to be on the vertical stream, if you do, that's totally fine. Hang out. We are going to end it early, but we got a little while to cook. But if you want to be over on the landscape, the link will always be in the description. Just hit the description and the link is right at the top. Welcome to the party, brother. We are debating federal employees should be banned from betting on prediction markets, and this guy says no. This is his opening statement.
Addition to the Constitution, and we're not going to get that anytime soon. Alternatively, we can we could require all elected and appointed officials to put their assets in a blind trust while they hold office. That is the most realistic thing that we could do and that we can require and should require. Another important aspect of this is that banning things like this just drive it underground. So instead of stopping people
because they're brown
like Nancy Pelosi from doing sketchy shit in the stock market, we just get Nancy Pelosi doing sketchy shit in the stock market without the disclosure of what she's doing. Which is why if you value government transparency, we shouldn't want this. Why should we want to make it easier for the government to hide what they are doing? The biggest thing here, though, is why should we prevent regular federal employees from betting in prediction markets? If a postal worker wants to bet on the election and bet on companies' futures or bet on their favorite sports team, we shouldn't be in the wallet of 2.2 million federal employees telling them what they can and can't spend their money on.
Yeah, to broadening out what I was saying before about how he's setting this up as you're banning gambling entirely because the prediction markets are so broad. Then there's nothing that you can't bet on, and so if you can't bet on if you can't bet on the prediction markets on the game, why should you be allowed to bet on the like DraftKings or whatever?
And if they get rich off of doing it, they can quit their shitty underpaid jobs. So good for them. And I see the rest of my time.
All right.
All right. So I'm going to end the poll there. 90% of you said that you agree that you are with the squirrel. And I'm going to put it up again at the end of the debate and see what you guys think.
So we are now going to go back over to you, Testy. So
Yes.
whenever you are ready, we're going to go ahead and doink. Going to go ahead and have you cross-examine Vigi. So 3 minutes is on the clock. I'll start when you start.
Horseradish, I love the doink with each scene change. Doink.
Sure. I have a small favor to ask. I have a list of questions brought up here. Could you possibly actually, you know what? I'll rearrange my windows here so I can see the timer. That's on me. Okay.
Cheers.
What?
And again, I won't start the clock till you start.
Okay. So, whoops. God damn it. What did I do? Sorry. 2 seconds.
So they tried banning Steam gambling, which is like card open gambling. What happened? Well, what did they do? What happened?
Alrighty. So Vigi, so just so we can kind of find some common ground here at a basic level, do you agree that there are at least some cases where it would be inappropriate for a federal employee to bet on the prediction market? Are there examples
Yes.
that you could think of?
I would, generally speaking, I would say just like elected and appointed officials, and only that.
So
already he's tamping down because Testy the squirrel is trying to set up. Well, okay, there's some bets that we don't want them to make, but you're saying, well, them is already too broad. Smart.
Like elected and appointed officials, and only that.
So when you say elected and appointed, do you mean like betting on the outcomes of elections, or?
No, I mean like the only federal employees, I would say.
Oh, I see. To who it applies to.
Yeah, are the ones that are appointed and ones who are elected.
Yeah, I'm not against. I mean, shout out to Moist Critical, who's always covering the Pokemon scalpers. The fact that that's what that world is, I'm good without it. Now, I don't like the government coming in and saying you can't do stuff. So I don't want the government to do that. But I think we should all be a little less trigger happy on the gambling.
Anybody other than that, I don't see a actual point to it.
Okay. So would you say that at least from the outside looking in, so from the public looking at this, would you at least agree that that it's not clear to the public whether something can be a lucky bet or whether it's a well-timed insider bet? Do you think that there's an appearance of malfeasance, even if there may not be?
Not necessarily. I'm pretty sure most people just assume somebody got lucky unless who made the bet is actually disclosed. We could think of examples of this, like with the GameStop stuff, where they were trying to fucking tank GameStop by shorting it in the stock market, doing shorting bets. And a bunch of like big name people were betting on that, and including some Congress people. And then they ended up losing
And maybe that's considered insider information. Where do we draw the line?
a fuckload of money because of, well, the internet.
Okay, I got a quick 2-part question. So I think you had mentioned this in your opening. So would you advocate for maybe something like just better disclosure, like better transparency, or is that something you think it's sort of okay as it is?
Better transparency. Like my main focus whenever it comes to like reforming the financials of people elected and appointed officials is primarily transparency, and then the fact that I don't necessarily think while they're in office they should have any control of their money at all. I think their money should be put into blind trusts.
All of their money?
Okay. So sorry.
Patience.
Okay.
I'm the main event, brother. I'm the main event.
Blind trust. Sorry, I'm just making a note of that here. Just 30 seconds. I could throw another one there. Let's see.
Just remember, this is a cross-examination. So
just to be clear, I want to kind of drive this point home. Do you think that? Well, you say you don't necessarily think it leads to the impropriety or like a looks like something wrong is happening. Do you think, at the very least, that this could erode public trust in institutions? Do you think that the appearance of corruption can do this?
Not with futures betting. I think the insider trading stuff, for the most part, is what does that. And the reason for that is because the House pretty much has control on whether or not those ethics things are actually enforced, and the House doesn't actually enforce them.
Y'all just go ahead and keep rolling into the open conversation.
So that typically that would be the end of the cross-examination, and so we're just rolling into, as you said, the open conversation. So yeah, these are mini debates. They're 15-minute open debates with opening and closing and stuff like that. So we're gonna be able to get through a bunch of them, and it's gonna be fun. Claudia said, "Since when is the lightweight division the main event?" Fuck you.
Sure. So one of the things you brought up was
So
possible.
I'll say, based on their debate, so far I'm in the Vigi camp that the prompt is too broad to agree with. But again, he's saying the betting on prediction markets is too broad because that's all gambling, and I'm saying federal employees is too broad because of the mailman.
An ethics board, and you said that that wouldn't happen because of the Constitution, all these things. Even just kind of at the end there, you mentioned how the House doesn't really, I guess, do its job, quote unquote. It sounds like you're sort of tacitly admitting that there is a problem, at least, that needs to be addressed. But when I asked you some of these clarifying questions, I think the main one being the first one there, where if you would agree that maybe there are some cases, and you did say for elected and appointed officials, but so you're limiting your scope specifically to those people.
Right. And so this is Testi's right on it. He's like, this is what you're doing. Now you have to be able to not only recognize, you're kind of sidestepping, even though I know that you believe there are some bets that or investments that shouldn't be, or at least untoward or whatever. I know that you think that, but you're doing this. So step one is understanding what your debate opponent is doing. Step two is combating it. We got Guam Tag. Welcome to the party. Said, liked, and shared again. Guys, thank you so very, very much. Again, guys, it's free, it's easy, it helps us so very, very much. Does not even matter if you think anybody's going to click on the link. Just by you telling the platform you want more people to see it, they will show it to more people. Welcome to the party. One said, glad to get on this one. I missed the original debate. How do you feel like you did? I think I did pretty well. But I definitely didn't feel. I felt way more confident going in than the moment that he finished his opening. I was like, this isn't necessarily the way I thought it was gonna go. But that's how it is. So to be clear, you already did the debate, and we're gonna review the debate you're doing after you watch review other debates. Correct. So I already this whole situation happened on Saturday night. They were the first debate. There was a second debate. I was the third debate. So now we're reviewing those debates.
When any federal employee agree that maybe there are some cases, and you did say for elected and appointed officials, but so you're limiting your scope specifically to those people. When any federal employee could access information, I can give you an example, and why I would even say for janitors or maybe people who work at whatever these other places, lower level people. There are interdepartmental, interagencies issues. Sometimes things will go through one department before another. It doesn't have to be stealing a classified document. It could just be having the foreknowledge, maybe hours before something happens. It could be seeing just a memo or an email chain that makes it by you, right? So I don't think that the barrier is very high. And I think that's why I would put much more scrutiny on beyond just people who are elected or appointed.
Yeah, but I mean, with anybody, with doing this kind of thing in general, it's still kind of more a innocent till proven guilty type of thing. You're just kind of assuming that the people that are making these lucky bets are people who have insider knowledge, when because of the fact that for the most part they're undisclosed, we don't have any proof of that.
I agree on its face, and I think one of the things I said in my opening is I think what I would view as the problem, which you seem to disagree with, is I think that there is something to be said about optics. When I'm talking about things like integrity and public trust, even the appearance that something corrupt is happening is enough to corrode public trust.
Strong point there. Now you're nailing him down to this basic thing that I know you're semantically getting around it, but let's get to the meat of it.
And so
Yeah, but I
even
mean,
if
we're talking
and
about gambling. We're basically just talking about gambling, though. Like the gambling in
So there's
general
different types of
erodes the trust
So
of an
there's
institution. Like,
gambling.
we can look at sports betting here, and sports betting, like when we look at sports betting, it like because of the higher influence of casinos and stuff in sports betting, people now believe like the MLB is rigged. They believe the NFL is
It
rigged.
is.
They believe the NBA is rigged.
It definitely is.
Like
Sure,
this happens in
and-
general just because
Put a one in the chat if you think that the major sports and NBA, MLB. Put a one in the chat if you think they are rigged.
of gambling.
Right. Well, so I would say there's a massive difference between somebody, even if it is rigged. I would say there's a massive difference between somebody thinking that a sports game is rigged versus real world events where you're monetizing your proximity to government power. So some of the examples I brought up, for example, or one of the examples, sorry, the easiest one that comes off the top of my head is the $400,000 that somebody made off Polymarket when Nicolas Maduro was arrested, and this was made. This bet was
John's the
made
only one?
hours before this had happened. Another example is before Iran was bombed, literally within hours, 6 separate Polymarket accounts made $1.2 million. So I think that it seems like a lot of smoke for no fire. And when we're saying we don't know who it is, I understand prediction markets can be linked back to the original person. They're pseudo-anonymous, so there's wallets, and then there's sort of a chain that you can follow. If the government really decides to, they could subpoena, they could maybe try to access these records, find out who made these trades. There doesn't seem to be that much interest in doing that. And I'm just going to tie that in really quick with what I said before about administrative costs, to try to micro police all of these separate things, because we don't know if it's somebody who's right next to Trump, or we don't know if it's some pencil pusher down below. All of these people work with sensitive information, right?
So far, what I'm seeing here is they both have their points, but they are more so just saying, this is my point. And then the other one saying, this is my point, instead of actually attacking each other's arguments. I think Vigi here could have done a lot better on giving examples. Like, so you think that, we should do that if you're, I think they do bring up the mailman, but like that should have been at the forefront. So you think the mailman shouldn't be allowed to do this, that, and that, and that? The rhetorical aspects of debate, as I always tell you guys, it's not just two people talking. Guamtech says it too. You guys see it. Liberty said, see, that is the issue, the proximity. I don't know if you can control for that unless you're Palantir. Ban it all. Ban it all. No, I mean, it's a, yeah. I mean, yeah. Agreed. John said, players play for money. Ballers don't have some kind of love of sport or integrity. It's obviously rigged. So the question is, which is the worst and which is the first? Which is the worst major league sports in terms of being rigged, and which started it? Because I would assume at one time sports were fair. I would hope. Yeah, that's a whole that I'm not even trying to get into that headspace. Wow, even Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu becoming more and more rigged. So how do you rig that? Because that was always the appeal of just MMA in general, that it can't be rigged because you're essentially just naked and there with your skills. I'm not doubting you. I'm just asking.
If it's some pencil pusher down below, all of these people work with sensitive information, right? Or potentially come across sensitive information. And so I think that there's a higher burden that is placed on them. And one of the reasons why it's cleaner just to not allow them to participate in these markets. It's more than just gambling.
Well, I
guess
mean,
is what I'm...
Hey, shout out to Razor Sharp in the building. Welcome to the party. It's so funny. You said something in the chat of this video, and I almost replied to it as if you were here, and then you showed up. What's good? Welcome.
Or just to not allow them to participate in these markets. It's more than just gambling.
Well, I mean,
this is what I'm saying.
here's the thing, like even
Since
if
the
even
60s?
if say we did your proposition, we would still get these lucky bets because like here's the thing, like even if this is insider trading, which is it would be enforceable and they could still go to jail if we actually had an enforcement mechanism for it because
Real quick, I gotta, you know what? You said 60s, and I'm like, no, that's crazy. And as soon as one thick said boxing, I'm like, yup, bingo. Dilly dilly. To the both of you. Thinking hard, being smart. All right, dive him back in.
because like here's the thing, like even if this is insider trading, which is it would be enforceable and they could still go to jail if we actually had an enforcement mechanism for it because we already insider trading in general is already illegal.
Yeah, it was right here, Razor. You're like, so wait, who's the neg? And I was about to answer you.
And that's what this would be. But the reason why we don't have that enforcement is because that enforcement is one left up to the FBI, two is left up to the House Ethics Committee, and nobody's going to investigate the government because we don't have anybody to investigate the government. And we can see this with a lot of different things that have happened. We know of a lot of Congress people who do insider trading in the stock market, and including like the famous example that the right always likes to bring up, being Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah.
There's so many. The issue here isn't like the access in general; it's the fact that it's not enforced.
And so I thought that was going to be a good moment when he said the issue here. That's when you want to focus in what you're saying and give some type of moment. It doesn't have to be like blood sporty type moment, but in terms of the debate, throw something at your opponent that they have to deal with. Just giving your thoughts. Like, this is a great conversation, but in terms of trying to win a debate, you can tell that no shade, of course. Like I said, this is a platform for everybody, which is a thing that I really enjoy about it. But you know, there's levels to this shit. You know what I mean? Gong said a lot of super fights and big matches in BJJ are starting to be looked at a lot. Basically like pro wrestling. Put on a good show, but the winner is already determined. I didn't even get to start yet. It's already rigged. I didn't even get to start yet. Well, technically I did. I went for the 2 weeks before I moved before COVID, but that doesn't count. Dana White is very strict. He's called the FBI on his own fighters. I do think that is one. Okay, that mid-debate poll. Do you think the UFC is rigged?
There's so many. The issue here isn't like the access in general; it's the fact that it's not enforced.
Well, sure, but it's.
And remember, guys, if you're on the vertical stream, all the good polls are over on Landscape.
One of those things where it sounds a little bit like, well, we've tried nothing and nothing can be done. I mean, in the case of these things, we're saying, well, the principle that I'm laying out is that something should be done, something ought to be done about these things, as opposed to, again, it sounds like you're ceding a little bit that you're saying that there is a problem that even you're identifying here that does exist.
He slapped his wife in a casino.
So if you're saying, well, it's not properly enforced, I can agree with you on that front, right? So I'm advocating that these things shouldn't be allowed. And I know there's a little bit of cross between prediction markets versus stocks, right? But I would also agree with the stock trading. I do think that there are examples where people sit on boards, security boards and things, and they've made stock trades. And yes, there is some quote unquote disclosure that these things are publicly accessible, but there doesn't seem to be consequences. And
shout out to David. Welcome. Says, I understand that the famous picture of Muhammad Ali standing over Sonny Liston and yelling at him was because he was mad that Sonny was paid and took a dive. Interesting. You guys know the picture, right? Muhammad Ali's Sonny Liston. This one right here. Where are we at? Iconic. And so David's saying the reason that he's so angry is like, you took a dive, motherfucker. Why are you taking a dive? Fight me, bitch. Interesting. So Equality said, nope, UFC is merit-based. Jason said UFC is the holy church of combat. I kind of agree with you guys. I think that at least I don't know about other MMA organizations, but I do think that, the UFC seems to be, like, we see enough. I mean, I don't pay that close attention anymore, but we see enough of what we would expect along with the unexpected stuff that you would expect if it's fair. You know what I mean? Like, you expect that not everything's going to go to plan. But yeah. Liberty said, I have a hard time believing BJJ guys would take a dive. It's a very hard martial art to progress in and a very tight community. If you got found out, it would probably be really bad for you. Right after he said, I want to believe I have integrity, but if I played professional sports, I'd probably take a dive or 10x my salary. I don't know. That's a tough one. That is a tough one. Maybe that will be the next poll. Guamtech said the smaller competitions and the stuff that's open to the public isn't rigged. More so pro athletes making big name fights. Not all of them, but a lot of big names are being suspected right now. And so I think that this goes back to just the general that money is power and power corrupts. That maybe you know exactly what Liberty is saying, that you spent years, maybe the majority of your life building up and getting to be a black belt and your reputation and this, that, and the other. But once you're kind of known as the guy, like once you're a Hoist Gracie, then, you know, you do a little this, do a little that. So, oh, I lost a match here or there. Makes a lot of sense. Yeah, 10 times 20 million is a lot of money. You do more good with that, then that is what we call rationalization. All right, let's dive back in. Guys, don't forget about Morty. He is hungry. He is dying of fucking hunger. And yes, I had to spend another $4,000 to get the AC fixed. That is why I need your help to make sure he doesn't overheat. Because I'm in debt now. Woo! Every single donation comes with a treat for the overlord.
Disclosure that these things are publicly accessible, but there doesn't seem to be consequences. And so, again, I think a cleaner option is just to not give them the option. And because, again, even if things are above board and they're just great at predicting these events or whatever it may be, the appearance of corruption is the issue.
The thing that you're missing here is the fact that them doing that is already illegal. The problem is we don't enforce it because the people who are meant to enforce that is the government. Like, we don't have any oversight of the government, and that's
sure. Well, as Liberty says, the markets themselves. The markets themselves could make sure they're more fair by banning these employees, but it seems like they're getting so much money from that they're incentivized not to be fair.
So we're talking on kind of both sides of the coin, right? So I'm talking more about a prophylactic type of step where we do something before the corruption is allowed. And I think I highlighted some of the issues. I think good ethics standards prevent abuse before they happen. And so I said, like, judges recusing themselves, for example. There are anti-nepotism laws where we recognize that something can be ripe for abuse, and that's why we're trying to address it before the abuse can happen, as opposed to something has happened, now it has to be investigated, now we have to prove what did they know, when did they know it, was it passed off through a family member? I know there's things with Pelosi, right? There were trades by her husband, and because the alternate line is, well, it's not going to stop them. What happens to them reaching out to their cousin or a friend, right? But just because people will circumvent these things and try to get around them is not a reason not to try to enforce strong ethics standards to prevent them from abusing them.
Yeah, but at the same time, again, like
so again, that was a strong point. That's a testicle. Exactly what I was saying. Throwing something over for his opponent to deal with instead of just saying, "This is what I think," and let's see how he deals with it.
Not to try to enforce strong
not a
ethics
reason
standards to prevent them from abusing them.
So essentially saying that just because there's problems doesn't mean that we shouldn't enforce those ethics. That's something to deal with. Like,
yeah, but at the same time, again, like when we put these rules in place, like, even say I grant that, and like we put this rule into place, it's not going to be enforced because of the mechanisms of enforcement. Like,
I'm gonna come back to this.
There's some great examples here with like
I'm gonna come back to this after the debate.
The different people in Congress and different people in the government who have like, or their family members have gotten caught doing or dealing drugs, and then they just like don't go to jail.
Since there's 1 minute, I'm gonna come back to this too.
Here is not like that laws don't exist. It's that when you're talking about the government, the way the government works currently, at least, the government is effectively above the law.
I agree. I feel like we're describing the same issue that we're both seeing, and we simply have different approaches to it. And so what I want to do is, I'm not sort of throwing out the baby with the bathwater, right? I feel like that there are moments for nuance, right? Like, if you were to come to me, and I guess I'm trying to make a little bit of an olive branch, and I'm saying, sure, if the category that these people are, the federal employees are restricted to, is only sports betting. I mentioned some issues that could potentially arise, but let's say it's something innocuous, right? It's not related to real world events that are happening. It's not the price of oil. It's not, is the U.S. going to take Carg Island? It's not things that affect people's lives in a deeply affect people's lives in a negative way. I might be more amicable to that, because I agree that does fall more on the side of simply gambling. But when we're talking about events that affect people in the real world, I think that having people in government who are not profiting, there's no perverse incentive, for them to be able to exploit real world events. I put that at such a high bar, and I don't want to gish gallop, but it's similar for people who are maybe police officers or people who work in the medical field. There are certain expectations when you have a certain job that you are expected to abide by. And so I would simply say that this would be part of their job. They're not being deprived of something. It's because we're putting trust into them that we have this high bar in the first place.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, we like say the example you used with like the Maduro arrest thing. Like, even if that was some random like federal employee, which it probably wasn't, it was probably some random dude who just got lucky. Like if it's some random person at the Pentagon, who fucking cares? Like, genuinely, who cares? Like, if it's not some like actually elected official, we shouldn't care. Like, these people, like, yeah, they might have some more inside information, but like they're working really shitty jobs that most of them are getting underpaid for. So if they get a chance to actually make some real money off of like a lucky bet that they already had information about, who cares? Seriously.
But I don't think a lot of people do care, but that is not the argument that Testy is putting forth. Shout out to equality and deference, because vagina over on Rumble with the $2 Rumble rant. Thank you so very much. And of course, every donation comes with a treat for the Overlord. And speaking of which, we got a co-sponsor of the stream, Jason, with another $2, making you holla. Thank you so very much. I finally figured out that's why he's been smelling the treats here, because when I forget and I actually give him Cinnamon Toast Crunch upstairs, that's what he wants. He doesn't want, his super expensive beef liver, whatever. Anyway, thank you the both of you. We got co-sponsors of the stream, indeed, equality and deference, because vagina, also known as Batman. Thank you. I did not forget the other the other comments, but Horseradish extended the debate, so let's keep them going. I just wanted to say thank you so very much to the two of you. Let me update the banner and we'll dive back in.
Paid for. So if they get a chance to actually make some real money off of like a lucky bet that they already had.
Oh, I didn't read them. I didn't read equalities. My apologies. Let's do that. A little more. There we go. Oh, too much. Oh, Jesus. God damn it. What did I do here? Stupid. Hold on. Wah. Okay, take two. There we go. Air conditioning is one of the best things in the world, worth every penny. And thank you so very much. Quality and deference, because vagina. Oh, right. Thank you. Where are we at? Okay, I'm gonna let that ride. I gotta update the banner. We got this. All right, we're back in.
Working really shitty jobs that most of them are getting underpaid for. So if they get a chance to actually make some real money off of like a lucky bet that they already had information about, who cares? Seriously.
Oh, sorry, Horseradish. Is the timer still going?
Well, I sorry, you guys, you didn't know this, but I have the ability to add up to 5 minutes. If you guys are in the middle of a thought or in the middle of... keep going.
Shout out again to our co-sponsors of the stream. We've got Batman, aka Equality and Deference, because vagina, and Jason, our boy. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. Razor said, fuck you guys. I am the sponsor now with a big 10. Thank you so very, very much. And of course, a treat for the Overlord. Razor Sharp said, Testy was awesome. Also, for the doggy. Indeed. I think they both did a good job, but I do think Testy did a better job. Thank you so very, very much. And of course, now that makes you the new sponsor of the stream. Very, very, very much appreciated.
Up to 5 minutes.
Okay,
if you guys are in the middle of a thought or in the
I'm
middle
more than happy to, yeah,
keep going, keep going.
Sure. So, well, I said in my opening statement. So it sounds with that last little bit. I mean, I feel like you're ceding to basically that some corruption is okay, or that well, they like because we're saying, well, you're kind of maybe not quite speaking out both sides of your mouth, but you're saying, well, if it's some low.
Yeah. So you're talking about
Thanks, Searka.
Basically saying some level.
That was when Searka joined, right, and fucked everything up. Let me grab some of these. He's just a baby. Who's got background music going? Not me. Shout out to Carolyn Borisenko, right? We got Dexter in the building. Welcome to the party. I know you got 99 cents to feed that puppy. I know you got 99 cents. You ain't no broke ass bitch. Said bow before me. Thank you, sir. And we got Razor joining the Discord. And so again, guys, if you, it is absolutely free to join. It's absolutely free to join the Discord. The link is pinned to the top of the chat. If one of the mods could go over to Landscape and post it there. Now, Costly, Tarnish, and Razor both have the membership capabilities to come and hang out in the after party tonight. For free, baby. For free. Check it out. Thank you so very, very much. Did I miss anything? Are we good? You got a job interview tomorrow? Don't they all, baby? Don't they all? All right, diving back in.
Maybe not quite speaking out both sides of your mouth, but you're saying, well, if it's some low.
Yeah. So you're talking about like how basically saying some level of corruption is okay. Which, I mean, to a degree that I am saying, like, some level of what you would consider corruption, like whenever we're talking about the people who don't actually have power to make decisions, yeah, sure, who actually cares? It's the people that can actually make the decisions that the corruption matters. If you can't make decisions, you being a little bit corrupt outside of, like, law enforcement, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Not really as strong. Well, it doesn't really matter. Well, that's your opinion. I argue that it does matter. You gotta make the argument.
Right. That was the point we wanted to make. Good stuff. So now we're going to go ahead and leave it here for the judges' questions. Well, we're going to in a second here. So, judges, do you guys have...
Before we go there, let's shout out Dexter. There we go. I know you guys ain't broke. Like that. Thank you so very, very much. Very much appreciated. That's the only way I live is you guys feeding the dog. Thank you so very, very much. So, wow. Okay, we only got 2 votes so far. The running poll is who did better at debating, not who do you agree with more. Who did better at debating? What, Kami? What are you talking? What?
And I know y'all were trying to pay attention there. Judge.
You guys know Tyler, who was just up here the other day, and Let's Chief. Those are the judges.
Do you guys have questions for, we're going to start with the AF, so Testes. Do you have a question for Testes? All right, looks like Tyler, you're already ready first. So go ahead and hit Testes with your question, please.
All right, so since your ethical argument right now is kind of in the lead, I feel like it hasn't been addressed properly. I'm going to be a bit tougher on you with my question.
Just a warm up, baby. We just warming up.
That gets as close.
We just warming up.
To even as possible.
Okay.
So
here, okay. So here's what we'll do. We'll skip the questioning for this part. I'm gonna leave the poll up. I want to hear who you think did better at debating, not necessarily who do you agree with. Who did better at debating? So, let's see. I believe he did win, right? I believe he did. Let's see. Oh, we have a timer.
And it looks like everything's working again, so fucking huzzah. Nobody fucking move.
Yeah. So Vigi made the point that
Oh, we got
it's
it on there.
all
Question or one question from each judges. So we're gonna go ahead and head on over to Vigi now.
Okay.
Tyler, you got a question for Vigilante, please.
Yeah, so his affirmative argument on the practical level, you guys have addressed it. You've only even come to some sort of mutual conclusion, but where he's not being met.
Oh, god damn it.
on exception on world events.
Vigilante, 3 minutes is going on the clock now for you. Start your closing.
Oh, closings. I forgot about closings. All right, we skipped the questions, but we're gonna do the closing remarks.
Give me 2 seconds here. I'm just great. Okay, I can see the timer. I'll bring you up into the big screen, and yeah, I think I'm ready to go.
All right, cheers. I'll start the clock when you start to talk, bud.
Alrighty. So sure,
I did that on purpose.
I'll start my closing by just addressing some of the final points there that Vigi got across. One of them was, which was a bit surprising to me, is about the low-level employees, or he said that these should apply to elected officials and people who are appointed. I think my overall sort of thesis throughout this has been that I think from the public's perspective, it doesn't matter. If I hear $400,000, somebody got that money, I'm not splitting hairs on who it was. You know, if it was the janitorial staff and somebody threw out a document and they managed to come across it and they gleaned some sort of information, if it was an email chain, I think that to the point about police officers, people who are medical professionals, depending on what your line of work is, there are certain expectations. And I do think that even the solution of the blind trust, to extend this, because again, I think it should apply to all federal employees, is I don't think that most federal employees would have the option of a blind trust. It does
Guys, hit the fucking poll.
feel a bit idealistic. I do understand that part of his issue is the enforcement mechanism is not sufficient, and I would agree with that. And so I think that what you end up doing is you add more administrative oversight. It's actually more taxing to try and investigate these sort of microcosms and who knew what, when did they know it? Are they predicting just because they're smart, good at guessing? And I think one of the things I have to address as well is why it's not like gambling, or it's not even like trading stocks. So with stocks, there's an outcome, right? But this you're betting on events, and events can be manipulated before the fact, right? I mean, obviously stocks can, if you have insider knowledge, which is illegal, you can guess, you can know if a stock is going to go up or down. This is also a source of controversy. I would say that we've seen certain suspicious trades happen before Trump posts on his Truth Social or makes some sort of speech. However, when we're talking about real world events and people profiting off of those things, there can be horrific consequences. One of the things, unfortunately, I didn't have time to get to, but is worth mentioning, is that the Polymarket, this was today, this news came out, Polymarket got slammed and they had to take down a poll which was betting on whether or not the service member that is missing right now in Iran would be rescued. And so, again, didn't quite get to this, unfortunately, but there is also deep moral implications to these things. I would feel uncomfortable with anybody betting on these things, and I'm not trying to introduce new information, but I think especially in the context of federal employees, again, I think that integrity and the perception of honesty is vitally important to maintaining trust in institutions. And yeah, that's why I would place that above. And I think that why it would be irresponsible to allow federal employees to gamble on world events, basically.
Stuff.
Beautiful. And you know what else is beautiful? My sugar daddy, the fuck master general himself. Yeah, wait on that water, brother. Wait on that water. We got a treat for the overlord. The 10 gifted memberships. Thank you, thank you, thank you so very, very much. Guys, remember, if you got a membership, join that Discord. As I just said, now you've got all the freedoms, all the privileges, and you can come out and hang in the after party. Thank you, thank you, thank you so very, very much. Welcome to the party, sir. Very good to see you. We got the Madman. Welcome, welcome, welcome. True, right? Your money, waste it how you like. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So yeah, everybody hit the poll. Who do you think did? Oh wait, not yet. We got the other closing. I just wanted to shout out, boy, the fuck master general. Thank you so very, very much.
All right, Vigilante. 3 minutes is going on the clock now for you. Start your closing. Are you ready? All right, cheers. Clock starts when you do.
Yeah. So I mean, the main thing here is you've talked a lot about the appearance. Well, even with like if we put this law into place, the appearance wouldn't change. If people accurately guess this stuff, the appearance would still be there. The problem is the lack of transparency whenever it comes to this kind of stuff, the lack of enforcement, and those are the primary problems here. Yeah, sure, we ban them, and then what happens when people still successfully make these big bets on world events right before they happen? We're just going to assume, like, if this is what we're assuming, that it's government officials, we're just going to assume it was a government official still doing it regardless. So what we need to do is, specifically with the people who actually make the decisions, because the people that actually make the decisions being able to bet on this stuff is the real problem here. We need to fix the enforcement mechanisms, because they're, realistically speaking, is not currently an enforcement mechanism. Yes, this would add administrative oversight, but in order to actually fix the problem of the appearance of corruption in this case, we have to increase administrative oversight over the government.
So really, a strong area he could have gone is giving a potential of, here's how we could do this, where we would so he was the negative, right? So he doesn't want them banned. Here's how we can fix the problem without banning all federal employees from betting on gambling. That's his position, but did he really give a strong framework for how we could do that? And then again, that's throwing it back to Testy, the squirrel, to have to say, well, that wouldn't work because
it currently does not have any administrative oversight. You could claim that the FBI is administrative oversight, but it's not. It doesn't actually enforce the laws whenever it comes to people who are actively in government. You can see this with insider trading. As far as the reason why I was talking about the stock trade and insider trading is because whenever it comes to insider trading and the stock trade, doing prediction bets as an elected official when you have insider information is considered insider trading. It is illegal for them to do that because it is insider trading.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the thing is, when we talk about, you kind of alluded to it's not really gambling, but it is gambling. It is gambling on whether or not a world event is going to happen. It's the same thing as sports betting. It's just doing it on elections. It's doing it on world events. It operates the exact same way. The odd, whether or not the odds of something are going to happen is based off of the amount of people placing bets on whether an event is going to happen or not. So like when we look at how sports betting works specifically, the way that the casinos determine odds is based off of the amount of people placing bets on one team winning. It works. It is functionally the same, but that's besides the point. In order to fix this, we actually need to increase oversight. We don't need to add another bullshit law that's not going to get enforced.
That's it. We're only getting 3 votes. There's 11 people on that side. Give me 3 more votes. 3 more votes.
All right. Good stuff.
That's on purpose.
We're going to go ahead and give it a couple of seconds while I drop the link for the voting into the chat. This is going to be in the shared chat. So everybody who's streaming on Twitch, you already got it. Let's, Chief, if you would scoop that up and put it into the...
So I think, if I'm not mistaken... I hate that they did that. If I'm not
into the room.
If I'm not mistaken, Raj, usually... What is going on? There we go. Okay, yeah, so we have the affirmative wins. So that means Testicle Johnson was the winner. So everybody agreed. Only a few of you, but interesting debate. So we're gonna move over to the start of the next debate. Being...
Prompt again, the military-industrial complex should be nationalized. Emmett, you got to see what more or less one is supposed to look like. Do you have any questions before we kick this off, sir?
And you guys know Emmett, so at least we're about to get a little bit more into it. Yeah, I mean, Let's do it. Who else? What else? We got. Yeah, I'm not doing that. There's a million other people that are just scrolling through Twitter and refreshing and whatever. Go do that over there. We're having fun. The poll isn't popping up for you because you are on the vertical stream. If you want to be on the stream that has the good polls, then make sure you hit that link in the description and head on over to the landscape. We're at about an hour 25. At the 2-hour mark, I am going to cut the vertical stream. So make sure you're on the right one if you want to keep partying. Razor Sharp said, I'd rather tear my tongue out than go anywhere near Iran stuff today. Yeah, I said shit. Me too. And I mean, I'm full disclosure. We still have the strike hanging over the channel. By tonight or tomorrow, that we should be good, or we should know if we're good or not. But I'm just playing a little bit safe. So I believe this Casey person, that's their first debate. We know it's not Emmett's first debate by a long shot. But here we go. The military-industrial complex should be nationalized.
Nope.
Cheers.
Let's do it.
Perfect. Well, then in that case, Casey Lee, 3 minutes is on the clock, my friend. Whenever you are ready, the mic is all yours.
The status quo in America is a several-tier justice system, one for the rich and the connected, and the other is for you and yours. Exactly what crime would the defense contractors break where we would have a reasonable expectation of an investigation and charges? When even
it is okay. No. I thought it was somebody else's first time, but hey man, whatever you're into. And I purposely didn't say he because I wanted to give you the shock. I'm like, oh, that's a dude. Well, actually, is it a dude? I don't know. It sounds like a dude.
Expectation of an investigation and charges, when even some ties to CIA is enough to get a pass for literally raping American children. No cap, full stop. The first
cap
level of corruption is the classic. Lobby pays congressman, congressman pays company pays lobby, and the money goes around and around and around. And taxpayers.
Well, hey, dilly to Testy for the day one win. Dilly fucking dilly.
Pays company pays lobby, and the money goes around and around and around, and taxpayers lose. Notably, comically, IPAC pushed Congress to purchase Israeli air defense systems. Military tested them and said they sucked and they had better stuff. Congress passes another bill in 2020 with a bill states explicitly that the army must use them.
Razor Sharp saying, but I like kinks.
October 7th happens and the army says, oh, here you go, you're going to need these. Maybe gives Israel back their air defense systems for free. That's cool. Though the corruption involving defense contractors is much more ingrained than the usual congressional earmarks. It isn't Congress that usually decides what is being purchased, after all, when it comes to military weapons.
So it's halfway through the opening statement, and I know that he's on the affirmative because he's going first, but I'm not really sure what the argument is so far.
It is in fact...
He said, well, they say this, but that's cap. Okay, what's the argument?
Random, or sometimes not random. DoD spooks often moving in and out of those companies' executive positions just to go back and do another stint at the DoD, and back and around we go. Researchers from watchdog groups like the Project of Government Oversight and others know that track each year hundreds of individuals moving back and forth each year between private defense contractors and the Pentagon or other government positions. In 2016, they note 645 cases involving revolving door hires. And now when, for example, a former defense executive becomes Deputy Secretary of Defense, they're now in charge of managing and purchasing the weapons for the companies that they, quote-unquote, used to work for. And let's be real, we'll be
I'm not hearing an argument
at some point later. Imagine if you can, this is moving on to another point slightly. Imagine if you can that your country, your defense contractors are selling to whoever they want, and a weak but and paid for Congress with already virtually no oversight on this does nothing.
And then
combine that with the aforementioned issue of accountability, and what you get is Visicom. In 2019, the Navy SEALs needed 450 highly specialized radio antennas. They specifically required a model made by a specific company.
So am I still imagining what you told me to imagine, or did you move on to another point?
The contract didn't go to that company, but instead to Pentagon-connected insiders who turned around to simply upload the sensitive military blueprints to a Chinese manufacturer's web portal and ordered knockoffs at the cost of $6 each. Despite committing literal treason, over 6 years of litigation, and Visicom was fined $300,000. The company has done over 30 million in government contracts. When literal treason happens, there is no expectation for individuals to be blamed. Oh, heavens no. There is little expectation for actual repercussions to the companies even at this point. That is today. That is now.
So I think this is a perfect example of trying to fit too much into your opening statement. You can't have the entire argument in the opening statement, especially in a mini debate where you only have 3 minutes. You know, if you're doing like an hour-long debate and you got a 10-minute opening, that's a different thing. I still think you shouldn't approach it this way, but just trying to check this out, and then that out, and then that out, and then that out. You need to frame, this is what I'm going to be arguing. The stronger you can present that, then the stronger it is when you back up what you presented. The reason for an opening statement is to essentially be like, this is what I'm going to say. This is what I'm going to talk about. And there was a lot there. I don't doubt that, you know, the facts that were listed and the ideas that were presented were, you know, completely nonsensical, whether I agree or disagree with them. But this was not, this doesn't give me a good idea of why you think that the military-industrial complex should, in fact, be nationalized.
So I gave you an extra 30 seconds. We went a little over there, Casey. That's all right. So I'm now going to go ahead and put 3 minutes on the clock again. This time, Emmett, it's for you to go ahead and cross-examine, ask questions, kind of set up. You can either set up questions to knock it down or set up questions to set yourself up as you see fit. So I'll start the clock when you ask your first question.
So, first of all, thank you for having me on, and I'm going to start the cross. When it comes to moral, when you're so, you know, oh, this is so bad. That doesn't matter to me. It makes no sense.
What did you just say, Emmett?
So you're trying to get, because you're saying that we should go ahead and get these companies to be part of the government. How is it giving more?
I mean, androgynous. That's supposed to be a chick. Come on, this is supposed to be a chick. Androgynous. Like I ain't hating. Live your life, but that's supposed to be that is a character that is a chick.
We should go ahead and get these companies to be part of the government. How is it giving more to the government will be less corruption?
So already, Emmett's establishing that you were saying this, but how does this help? That's already throwing something. As much as we love Emmett over here, Emmett knows how to debate. So he knows that this is his time to nail down the fact that either Casey didn't give a good argument, or that Casey's argument didn't work.
Is it giving more to the government will be less corruption?
You take out the profit structure. The companies don't have profit, so there's no one raking in the dough from taxpayers. You take out the
okay,
structure.
so if that is the case, that would mean that the more government we have, the less spending we would see, right?
We would have the companies that we hired wouldn't be raking us for their profits, because there would be no profit.
But there wouldn't be companies that we hire. We just go ahead and take whatever they have, and we're just gonna spend more money of our taxpayers on them, right?
We're already getting grossly overcharged for nearly all the things.
Okay,
So
let's say that is correct.
Okay.
Let's say that is correct. Wouldn't that be a government inefficiency? Like wouldn't be a problem of the government that they are getting overcharged? How is it that giving the government more power would mean that these will solve the issue of the government not doing their duty?
And so again, a very clear question. Military-industrial complex being nationalized means there's not private companies making, bidding for making weapons and doing this and that. That it's just all the government. The U.S. government has the manufacturing, and they do that, and all the way through. And so Emmett is saying, if you, Casey, are establishing that government doesn't do well, then why then are you saying that the government should do more with arguably the most important thing, our military? And the military itself is obviously the government, but I mean the industrial complex around it.
They already have the power. They're just using it to make profits for their friends or for companies that they in fact actually pseudo work for. It's the.
Oh, that's correct. Yeah, well that would be correct in your worldview, right? But you said that they were committing treason, and you said that they're committing treason right now. They're doing absolutely nothing. So you want to give them all the power of all these companies to a bunch of dudes that are doing absolutely nothing when it comes to treason?
when a company is given U.S. military like antenna, like a highly specialized stuff that our enemies aren't allowed to see, we'd literally ship that. We send that to a Chinese company to have them make $6 ripoffs. Like, how is that not treason? I was sending.
I agree with you. They should.
Right, and so Casey just fell right into the trap. So Emmett's saying that this is if you're saying the government is committing treason with this stuff, then why do you want to give them more power to do that? So you've just established that the government is willing to engage in treason, but you want them to take over the entire complex. That is how you frame an argument.
All be in jail, but why should I give it to the people that are not even putting them in treason?
Right, I'm saying
Yeah.
that there'll be different
If they
people-
should be,
Right,
if
there'll
they
be
should
different
be,
people and
Agreed.
when they're not themselves making money by this.
yeah. If
system.
let's say that, just the 20 seconds real quickly. If let's say that the government should put them to play with the trees.
That's always a good trick, a good tactic when you're on specifically the cross examination. If you're getting into discussion, you're not getting as far as you want to. This isn't the open debate part. This is supposed to be I'm questioning you. And so when you've got 30 seconds left or something, if they're saying something, especially if it's not good for your point, you're like, well, okay, this is cross examination. I only got 30 seconds left. Can I just ask one more question? It doesn't matter what they said then. Because like, yeah, that's what we're here for.
And they're not doing that. Why should we give more power to the people that are not doing their job?
Right. When you remove the profit structure, you also remove the corrupt individuals who are there for that profit structure.
Okay.
All right, that's perfect.
Thank
Landed
you.
it right on the button. 3 minutes is on the clock now for you, Emmett. That is
So I do think that Emmett would have been able to come back to that. But again, clock management helps.
your time to open, sir. Go ahead and start it whenever you're ready.
Thanks so much. Well, the reality of the thing is that when I was thinking about what kind of argumentation I was going to make, once we're going to go for, I immediately realized that the first thing that we're going to talk is about corruption. And oddly enough, whenever we talk about the government has a specific role. The role of the government is to be the force, the enforcer, okay? And to do the enforcement, they were going to have to use all kind of the most amazing and advanced capacity they have in order to use force. In this case, planes, guns, anything they want. That's all they have. That in and of itself is going to be a little bit of corruption in there, because the government is not there to create anything. They're not there to do anything. They can't. All they have is a cudgel, and they're going to hit you on the head with it, okay? That's their capacity. So I could go to the whole thing of, well, the government cannot create, they cannot innovate. If you go to Venezuela or China or anybody, all they do is rip off, or in the case of Venezuela, died of hunger, one of the two. So I don't want to be a communist country. I don't want to be part of the communists that all they do is pretty much die of hunger. What I want is to be able to create the most amazing thing. And the only way to do it is by allowing the individuals to create companies so that they can do it. They can innovate. They can do all these kind of things.
So compare this to the when I paused it halfway through Casey's opening. I'm pretty clear on what Emmett is arguing. Whether I agree or not is irrelevant. What is being argued is clear.
That's not even the problem. The problem is that every time we see a government create a structure, this structure is going to tend towards corruption. So Casey is saying, you know what? Let's give all of these companies to the government that tends towards corruption to fix the corruption that we have in the government. It's a complete non sequitur. It makes absolutely no sense. I don't understand how is it possible that we,
It's not a non sequitur, but no, it doesn't make sense.
after 2,000 years at least, we have seen these kind of horrible implications of letting the government overreach because they become corrupt. We're still trying to get the government to overreach and become way more corrupt. And we see it every single time. Democrats and Republicans do it. They create the structures in which we're going to see a bunch, we're going to see bureaucracy appear. And every single time in those kind of bureaucracies, we're going to see nepotism. We're going to see people that are not supposed to be there, ranking millions of dollars. And you know what is the worst part? When they're part of the government, they cannot even go bankrupt. We're
Good point. Razor's saying Casey dropped the ball by not emphasizing that the people are the government, and we've forgotten to do. We've forgotten that due to propaganda. Good point. Good point. I still don't. I still fall on Emmett's side of the debate, but that would have been very helpful.
stuck with them. We have to save them every time. We have to give them more and more money because they cannot. They're part of the government. What are they gonna do? Stop taxing us? So I'm gonna end up in this. I think it's a completely non sequitur, giving more power to the same people not doing the duty, because of corruption to avoid.
How is it both a non sequitur and also giving more power? A non sequitur means that doesn't lead us anywhere. You're just saying, Emmett, that you don't agree with her position. That's not what a non sequitur means.
Corruption is completely nonsensical. It's P and not P at the same time. Thank you.
All right. 3 minutes now is on the clock for you. What a great face to come back to. Casey, 3 minutes is on the clock for you to go ahead and cross-examine. I'll start the clock when you do.
Okay, and so now we will see the inverse, and let's watch how more clear Emmett is on bringing everything back to the prompt itself. Hey, shout out to White Buffalo. Welcome to the party. So we can't afford war, or we can afford wars, but we can't feed the poor. That's America, baby. That's America. Welcome to the party. Remember, we have the good polls over on the landscape. Link is right at the top of the description. Right now, we are just asking if we agree or disagree with the prompt. The military-industrial complex should be nationalized. Casey is the affirmative, about to cross-examine Emmett's opening statement.
Why can't the government create stuff?
Well, let me put it this way: when you go and see the structure of the economic system, the way that the government exists is only through force, and all they do is enforcement. So they become corrupt. That's why they cannot create.
Is NASA, is that enforcement?
Clear answers.
Is NASA enforcement?
Yes, they do it through enforcement. The reason why is because they do it through your taxpayer money. What happens if you don't pay your taxes?
How is going to the moon enforcement?
They do it through the capacity. They do it to you paying your taxes. So if you don't pay your taxes, they're gonna come to you, enforce it, and put you in jail or take away the money.
Right, but you didn't say that you said they only do this and they never create things. So I'm pointing to an instance where they created things, and I'm asking why isn't that them creating?
Okay.
Because they're not creating. What NASA does and what NASA has done is they pretty much take all of the they outsource all of the mines to the universities, and the best of the mines in the universities go back to NASA. It's a synergistic system, and still NASA is a corrupt institution. This is what I'm saying. We have already these kind of institutions that have been corrupted and are corrupt. And even though we can find in some cases they can kind of work, because we still need to have the private sector. They all work in the private sector in the sense that they work in the universities.
So again, the purpose of this segment is for Casey to be like, well, you said this, but that doesn't make sense. Or to set up things for the future. And right now, Casey is just setting up Emmett to look stronger before the debate even starts. Well, exactly, right? Money, aside from the enforcement aspect of they get money from your taxes through the threat of force, if they're doing other shit too, that goes right back to what Casey said about how the government is going to be corrupt and all that stuff. But if that's the case, then why would we nationalize the private industry?
If you're an engineer and you work for a government or you work for a corporation, why isn't you just doing your own? Why is your engineering different? How is your engineering different?
Well, if you're an engineer and you're working, let me explain. If you're an engineer and you're working for one of the companies outside, and you fail and it goes bankrupt, it's your fault. So you have a responsibility to be the best that you can. If you fail in a government institution, well, and I guess the taxpayers can pick it up.
No, an engineer.
Yeah, exactly. If you fail as an engineer, let's say that you destroy 10 rockets and that would have destroyed NASA. In reality, it doesn't destroy NASA because it's part of the government. So they can, taxpayer, can you speak it up?
Yeah, and what happens with very large companies in the U.S. Go bankrupt?
So when you ask a question like that should lead. You should be trying to string together a narrative, to for lack of a better word. You're asking these questions to tease out what in the opening doesn't make sense. What can I undercut before the debate even starts? And so Casey's just asking questions. Emmett's got answers. It seems like Casey disagrees, but again, this isn't just a conversation. It's a debate.
With very large companies in the U.S. Go bankrupt.
It would depend on it would depend, right? But I would say that is corruption.
What do you think would happen if Boeing was going to go bankrupt?
Yeah, I
They
would
make
say
a lot
that
of
that's
our
Too big to fail.
fighter
corruption.
planes.
I would say that is
Now,
corruption.
what do you think would happen?
Quality's heading out. Thank you so very, very much. You have a good one.
You think?
Uh,
you
They
think
would
we
be
let it-
bailed out, and I would say that is corruption.
Correct. So it's
Yeah.
not really capitalism, is it?
But that's irrelevant because whether or not it is or is not capitalism, it is what the government is doing. So why then, if that's going on, do you want the government to take over more?
I never said that this is capitalism.
Well, that would be if it's not the government like making stuff, and then the opposite is like the benefit would be
No ads on landscape.
like some
That
sort of
would be
market system or whatever. But I'm saying it's not the
No,
market
I
system
get
anyway,
it, but
is it?
that would be
Okay.
corruption, wouldn't it be?
So Horseradish liked what he's hearing and so extended the time.
Absolutely.
So this is the thing that you're telling. This is the thing that you're telling me right now. Hey, the government is corrupt. I want to give you more power, and I'm saying why? Why do you want to give you more power? It's already
Okay,
corrupt.
what specifically was corrupt about NASA? Like not today NASA, but like going to the moon NASA.
So
Operation Paperclip.
once again, the problem that we see is that it tends towards corruption. So every single
How do
time you
NASA
have these
tend
kind of
towards that?
institutions, they will go corrupt, and you agree to that. It's like right now NASA is corrupt. So,
Mhm.
so that's
Yeah,
that's the
I'm
point. Or do
debating
you want to give them more
against.
power?
I'm debating against our current system.
Hey, agreement in the chat. Dilly dilly. Dilly dilly to agreement in the chat. Well, agreement after non-agreement. Not just a circle jerking each other, but I saw you going back and forth, and I like it. I like it.
I'm
Or do
debating
you want to give them more
against.
power?
I'm debating against our current system. To a system we
I know you were
used to
debating
have.
against our current system by giving
That's-
more power to our current system.
That's going to a poll, guys. That is going to a poll. Little Toes, come on over to landscape.
No. We revert the process where NASA wasn't corrupt, where NASA was inventing like all the things they created the batteries and all of our power tools. They created a lot of the electronics that
that's
we
not
use even
true.
today.
Again,
What's not true?
it's not true that they created all the power tools and all the batteries and all the things.
No.
That's not true. It's not
The
true.
type of
They
batteries
engineers-
that we use in power tools, that they designed those to go to the moon.
Okay,
them
let's
smaller,
let me pretend that is the case. Is my
Okay.
computer designed by NASA right now? Are we using the same kind of technology that gave us to the moon?
Poll is up,
No, I never
guys.
said your computer was.
Did we ever go to the moon? The options are yes, no, or only with Artemis 2.
But there's
Oh,
probably
perfect.
components in
Then-
it. There's probably components.
Great.
In it, actually.
Then it's not only NASA, right?
Actually, the camera in your phone uses a CMOS image sensor. That
Okay, but why are you saying that? Why are you saying that? Well, Casey, he's got you arguing for giving a corrupt government more power. So what does the camera in your phone have to do with negating the idea that, okay, even if the government is corrupt, we should still nationalize the military-industrial complex because...
is something NASA created.
You think that the camera on my phone was created by NASA?
I don't think. I know.
Okay. Let's say that I agree with you.
Right? See, now that is a non sequitur. That is a non sequitur. The fact that NASA created your camera or whatever, that is irrelevant to the conversation. That is a non sequitur. I meant.
All of it. I agree with everything you're saying. They were amazing and created all of these. Tell me, how is it possible that right now Boeing is working with NASA and they pretty much fucked up a mission?
Wait. Well, first of
Do
all,
you want to give more power to
today's
Boeing
NASA,
right now?
Today's NASA is different because today's NASA hires
Yes.
private companies like SpaceX to do shit and Boeing. To
And
do
you
shit.
know what is
That's
the
what
coolest
I'm
part of
arguing
what you said
against.
to me? Yeah, you know what is the coolest part of what you said to me? That you agree with me that it tends towards corruption. So why you want to give it more power?
So again, notice how he keeps hitting on that point. You, Casey, said that the government is corrupt, but you want to give them more power. There is an argument on the other side, but you've got to make it. It's not enough to think it. It's not enough to believe it. You have to debate it, articulate it.
Can you answer that question? If
No, I'm getting rid
government
of the
tends towards
corruption.
corruption, why do you want to give more power to the government?
Right. There's a corrupt government and there's far less corrupt government or corruptible government.
I like the mid-debate fact checks.
Okay,
I'm
show me
trying- I
one.
want
Show me
to
one less
change
corrupt
to a-
government.
I'm saying no. I didn't say corrupt or not corrupt. I said more and less. And I said a
Yeah,
system
show me one less
like
corrupt
a
government that is
system like
applying.
NASA is much less
Perfect.
corruptible than the current system that we have for NASA,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
involves hiring other companies to do the work, overpaying them, by
perfect.
the way, grossly.
Perfect. You're the
To go to
affirmative
what,
in
Mars?
this case. So you should be able to show me a state right now that is less corrupt by using the kind of prescriptions that you're saying.
And so again, you can see in the chat, Testy and Razor are giving points to Casey for being right about the fact that the camera technology is from NASA. But what did that do for the debate?
Yes, I'm saying today's NASA versus the NASA that actually did all of the work themselves and didn't outsource. I'm arguing don't outsource. I'm saying that these companies should be publicly owned. That's what I'm arguing for. We need to go back to that NASA, which is less corruptible.
I granted that in the past NASA was perfect, but it tends towards corruption because now it's corrupt. So if that is the case, you should be able to show me right now a government that is not corrupt, that is doing the kind of policies that you say you want.
Why can't we look at a historic system?
No, I'm going to the history. The history was NASA. NASA was not corrupt, but it tends towards. I mean, my argument is that it goes towards corruption. It's corrupt now, so.
And so Evan's making the point that the example that you, Casey, are using is a perfect example of why we should not nationalize these things. Hey, shout out to Carl's Frosted Tips. Member for 19 months. My goodness. Thank you, thank you, thank you so very, very much. Of course, a treat for the Overlord. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the party. This is our watching? What? This is a debate night that I did on a Saturday on the Horseradish Demilitarized Zone. And it was a mini debate, so we're going through the whole night. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the party. This one is the military-industrial complex should be nationalized. And Emmett's kind of winning on the negative there.
It tends towards. I mean, my argument is that it goes towards corruption.
Razor said the argument from Casey should have been that the bureaucracy and informed populace helps towards less corruption. Yes, that would have been a good thing to throw over to Emmett. That now he has to engage with a point that she's making. Like, okay, great, the phone camera is made by NASA, and then. Like that is you're exactly right, and this is why again I think horseradish is a great place for people to get into this. I mean, and this is this is a positive thing. But if you're gonna go on, like Speakeasy Channel, Modern Day Debate, The Raging Tomato, all these things, these are people who do this, people who debate. And so if you want to, sharpen your skills, I definitely think that this is a place to go. Oh, KFT again with the $2. Thank you so very, very much, sir. Said hello, my friend. Hope all is good for Morty. Very much appreciated. Yes, I had to spend $6,000 to replace my AC unit, so every little bit helps. Thank you. So very, very much. Glondark said, did you know having national sovereignty is socialism? Say more on that. What exactly do you mean? We got Jake Go Texas. Welcome to the party. Said, what does the government ever run better than the private sector? Nothing. Welcome. And KFT Carl again with the super sticker. Thank you. So very, very much. And Morty's loving it. He's loving it. Thank you. Very much appreciated. Let's update the banner and dive right back in. Thank you so very, very much, sir.
NASA was not corrupt, but it tends towards. I mean, my argument is that it goes towards corruption. It's corrupt now. So if that is the case, right now you must have a country that you know of that is implementing this kind of communist policies that is not corrupt. Can you tell me one? Show me one.
I never said it wasn't corrupt. I never said zero corrupt. I didn't say NASA was zero corrupt. I didn't say the U.S. government was ever zero corrupt. I said less corrupt. Yeah, a lot of countries and systems are less corrupt than the U.S.
Can you tell me about one that is less corrupt in accordance to you? Like, show me how is it less corrupt?
And so that's Emmett literally saying, can you make an argument? Instead of just saying the things that you think, can you make an argument? And I know that you think that. The question is, why do you think that? Oh my goodness. Carl, my goodness. All right. For the triplicate, look at that brick. That brick. Thank you. So very, very much with the big five. Oh, I was going the wrong way. There we go. Oh, he's loving it. Thank you. Said, feed Morty some more. The government sucks. No matter who is in office. Buy pew-pews and prepare. Be ready for disasters. The government won't help you. Absolutely great advice. Thank you. So very, very much, sir. Cannot tell you how much it means. Thank you. We all need to feed Morty. Very much appreciated.
Less corrupt in accordance to you? Like, show me how is it less corrupt?
Just as a country as a whole?
Of course,
Probably
we're talking about the whole. We're talking about the
Norway.
country as a whole. Norway.
Yeah, I'll go with that. Yeah.
You okay?
Finland,
Fine.
those types of
Norway
shit,
is Norway a communist country?
I'm not arguing for communism.
Oh, I'm sorry, but if you want the government to have all the power when it comes to the structures, because that allows them
I
to be
didn't say
less
all the
corrupt,
power.
wouldn't that be communism?
Is having firefighters paid by taxpayers, is that communism?
No, because they're a specific
No.
industry, and I would say that if
So
we
are
had
the
them,
defense
if
contractors.
I would say that if we had them as contractors, that would be less efficient. That would be way more efficient. Sorry.
That is Razor brings up a good point that I like to highlight all the time, that the slow-moving cogs of our system were on purpose to keep despots from barreling through our constitution. The wheels of justice, the wheels of politics and government are meant to move slowly. Very good point. What else we got? Yeah, Postal Service, they definitely don't make as much money as Amazon Prime, and you don't get 2-day shipping. So I still stand on my answer. The Postal Service is done better, at least before it got defunded, thanks to lobbyists. So yeah, then how do you? I mean, it is demonic, but how do you say that the Postal Service is better than Amazon? In terms of in terms of a business structure, not speaking morally, speaking as working the way it's supposed to, making money, delivering a product or service.
As contractors, that will be less efficient. That will be way more efficient. Sorry.
That is one of the all-time failures in history. The richest man who possibly ever lived is highly debatable. Is ancient Rome, and he owned the firefighters, and they would show up, and buildings would be on fire, and they would literally start haggling. You're talking about Crassus.
Okay, but then so great. Okay, so now you've got a point of contention that you're saying that Emmett agrees that the fire department is not socialist just because it's by the government. And so now Casey's giving an example of privatized firefighting where it didn't work. Okay, great. So you need to nail down on that, and you have to if you're saying that, if you're presenting that, then you have to give him something to contend with. Why is it that these firefighters were haggling, but you don't think that would happen with the military? That's how you got to nail it in.
And they would literally start haggling.
You're talking about Crassus.
History.
Yeah. Do you know what's the name of that guy?
You gotta remind me if you want.
Yeah, his name is Crassus. Okay, and Crassus became the most rich man in whole of Rome. So I don't think it was much of a failure for him. But anyway, let's move.
Well, but just because the Postal Service offers something that Amazon doesn't mean that Amazon is not as good at doing what the Postal Service does. That's just a different thing. Public service, like mailing, usually isn't supposed to be profitable in a working society. Well, that's exactly the point. That the argument that you're making is a different argument here. We are making the argument on the money that's made, the efficacy of the service, and all of those things. You're appealing to something different, that we need things in society that aren't based on profit. That's a good argument, but nobody's making that argument.
rich man in whole of Rome. So I don't think it was
Not
much
in
of a
this
failure
debate.
for him. But anyway, let's
No,
move
not
on
a
from
failure
that.
for
Can you please
him,
tell me
a
of
failure
the
for
Norway
society.
space Can you tell me about the Norway space program that is less corrupt than NASA?
Oh, I never said that. I don't know whose space program is less corrupt.
Well,
I
you said that it
never
was
said I could
not
even-
the full country, so I thought you were gonna go into
I said I can name some
equations.
countries.
We're gonna make them a little bit equalizers, right? So they must. If
That is an argument Casey should have made.
you're talking about Norway, and Norway is capable of having their space program is less corrupt, so you should be able to show me their space program, right, and what they do.
I don't even know they have a space program. I never stated that they did.
So you have you have shown me absolutely no reason to believe you that there's going to be less corrupt.
The country
Yeah,
with a space program that's less corrupt than ours is ours 50 years ago.
That tend towards corruption because
so
it's
let's
part of the
go
government,
back to
right?
that system. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if you can,
corruption
but I cannot turn back
is an
time.
ongoing process. You're never going to stop ever corruption. All of it. You have to pick and choose like what is less corruptible than other things.
Do you
There
have
is
a
no
way
on
to
or
turn
off.
back time so that we come back to the 50s?
Yeah, I do.
Because I would
Yeah,
love
we
to
just
be
answered-
able to do that, but
as
I
far
don't
as
think it's
yeah, as
possible
far
to
as the
turn back time.
structure, as far as the structure of our our military industrial complex, yeah, I do. We just
Yeah, you
design
do?
the system so it works more like it used to.
Oh, the moon poll. 60% of you. What was it? 60% of you. So the question was, did we ever go to the moon? 60% of you said yes. Only 30% of you said no, and 10% said only with Artemis. I feel like we're probably in the Artemis camp. I don't know. I don't claim to know that we didn't go to the moon in 1969. I'm just saying, there's too much shady shit. There's too much shady shit. And guys, we did just hit the 2-hour mark. So if you are on Vertical, make sure you come on over. I'm about to shut that stream down. If you want to come and be with the cool kids, the link is in the description. As always, come on through.
How did it used to work?
It less contractors, more like nationalized industry.
Do you have any documents
work
that show how many contractors they